you're coming from the old school, right? And now we
Right.
have, and I'm sure second swing has all the bells and whistles. Now you have launch monitors, pressure plates, 3D this, blah blah blah. Has that affected how you go about your fittings?
It hasn't affected it, but what it does is it gives you confirmation. Okay. Think about it this way. Back in the day, if I was in, we'll just go to, you know, Hale Irwin's a perfect example. So we're standing on a range at a country club not too far from the Wilson factory, and he's hitting three different drivers, and he's hitting them on the range, and he's hitting them pretty well. And he goes, okay, well let's take him out. Let's go play 18 holes of golf and let's see how these work. And he hit a few drives for a couple holes, and he took one of them out because he didn't like the way it felt. And then the next, he just went and he hit it downwind, into the wind, whatever. That's how you used to pick a driver, but it was based on feel and it was based on ball flight and the ability to hit shots. Well, it's still the same thing in the bay. It's still about ball flight. It's still about contact. But now we have numbers. We have visible numbers that a player can see and go, "Hey, wow, before I was this ball speed and this launch and this spin. Now I see what you mean. The ball flight's so much better. The height is so much better. The land angle's so much better." So for a fitter now, it's confirmation. It just gives you that extra tool in your belt to sit there and go, "Hey, what I've given you is correct, and this is the reason why with the numbers." And we use TrackMan for full shots and wedges and whatever. But then for putting, we use Quintec, which I don't know if you know what that is, but it's
Yeah.
basically, yeah, Quintec. It gives you launch and spin rates, and it's the best because,
Kid. Mm,
yeah,
I
well, the
know
hardest
those.
thing, if I give you a bad driver, okay, or if you're struggling with your driver, you can see ball flight, right? You can see it go up or down. It's too high, it's too low, whatever. I need to go see Larry for a new driver. Well, if you're hitting your putter, you can't see what's going on in the ground. You don't know what's happening. And you got to remember, putting is we're trying to do a perfect thing on an imperfect surface. I don't
Right.
care how good the greens are, okay? It still comes down to creating this little steamroller with as little side spin as possible to make sure it holds my line and to make sure that it goes the right speed. Because at the end of the day, speed is everything. It's kind of interesting. This morning I was doing some stuff around the house, and I threw on the 84 Masters. And I mean, you watch the last round of the 84 Masters, you want to see a putting show by Crenshaw. It is absolutely phenomenal how he putted in that last round. Making 60 footers, two putting on the 14th green from 80 feet away. I mean, it's just unbelievable, you know, and you realize how important putting is, but it's 40% of the game, but most people never get fit for their putter. You
Right.
know, they walk in and, you know, my, my, I always like to tell people, the thing that just surprises me the most is, you get a member at a private club that's not too far from our store in Minnetonka. They putted bad on Saturday. They played terrible. They lost a bunch of money to their buddies. So they come in and they trade in their putter and they hit about three or four putters on the putting green and they buy another one. Well, they never ask any of us, "Hey, can I just, what do you think about this putter? Can I jump on the Quintec for a couple minutes just to see if the loft and the lie is right and whatever?" And they don't. And then they buy that putter and they putt just as bad on Sunday as they did on Saturday because They don't know if the loft's correct. They don't know if the link's correct. They don't know if it's got the right toe hang for them. They don't know if it has the right center of gravity for, when you start talking about putters, I mean, it gets more, to me, it gets a little bit more intense because you're making a very small stroke that there's no room for air. So that club better be the best fit club in your bag. Because if it's not, you're going to struggle.
That's actually one of the best, explanations I've listened to in a while. Or yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
that
Well,
was pretty cool.
well, it's been carved in 44 years of this stuff, you
Alright.
know, and I was very fortunate because my dad, I started playing golf when my dad did, and one of the things he did, he was a single digit handicap and was a great putter. Was just an absolutely beautiful putter with one of those old aluminum Ray Cook mallets, if you remember those.
I had
That
one.
he That's it. He absolutely rolled it, and all we did all winter long in Chicago was hit putts on the carpet in the living room to the point where my mom's like, "We're gonna have to get a new carpet because you guys don't
Wore it
move."
out.
We wore it out. But that carried it on. So the really cool thing about the technology is, I mean, I still have the same ping answer that I bought when I was 14 years old, my freshman year of high school, and played that in high school and college, and when I tried to play for a living. I mean, and I put that putter on Quintech, and it rolls perfect. So by pure chance, by pure luck, I managed to find the putter when I was 14 years old that actually matched my putting stroke.
Well,
Okay.
could you also say that you were 14 and you bought this Ping Answer putter, which is the latest and the greatest,
Right.
and at 14 years old, you decided this thing was gonna work, and
I
over the
did.
course of the years, you fit into the putter. How's that?
Well, I did, and I also too. I also learned too that when the putter didn't look right, those things were really easy to bend. So you just put it on a hard surface, you can just bang it on the ground, and you can make it look better.
Right,
So that happened a couple times through my high school years, and it worked out to be right, and it had a nice weight, had a nice feel, and I wanted, once I started having success with it, it's like there's no way in the world I'm going to change. And to me, you look at the best putters ever, they don't change their putters. They work on their putting stroke. They work
yeah,
on themselves. You look at Crenshaw and Fax uh, and Bobby Locke, who most people don't know is considered one of the greatest putters ever. They don't. Jordan Spieth, they don't change their putters,
right.
not much. And if they do change, they change to something that looks similar to what they used to have. So, um, and like I like to tell people that come in for putter fittings, I do believe that some people are born great putters, but I also know that everybody can put can putt equally as good as a PGA Tour player, because it doesn't take strength, doesn't take physical strength. It just takes a little bit of knowledge, the right tool, and the ability to want to practice and become better. And it's amazing to me how many times I get people come in and go, you know what? I know I haven't seen you in a couple years, but I got to tell you, I haven't putted. This is the best I've ever putted in my life over the last couple of years, and I just didn't need to come see you. And again, you get that nice warm feeling that, you did your job.
Yeah, and, you're right. It doesn't take it doesn't take athletic ability. It doesn't require you to make a
No,
particular long shoulder turn. It's just and
Well,
you're right, and most people overlook that because it's
yeah,
not as sexy as hitting a 300-yard drive.
it just requires you to give the ability to give that putter head some life. Okay. Crenshaw says that. You got to give the putter head, you got to let the putter head do its work. You're just the person holding on to it. The putter head does the work. And if you can figure that out, you can become a really, really good putter.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Now, you're coming from the Midwest, Chicago. That's pretty much a
Yep.
cold weather place, but yet it's got a pretty rich tradition, and especially from the manufacturing standpoint, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
I
have
mean, back in the day, I mean, you had Wilson there, you had Spalding there, you had McGregor there. Uh, the company that sold more golf clubs than anybody, Northwestern Golf
yeah,
there.
that's my buddy. That's Nat.
N- The
Nat
The Rosasco boys.
drove down his
Yeah.
big giant rolls.
Yep.
Gave He gave me a boxing glove signed by Carmine Basilio.
Nice.
We signed a big contract with them not with Northwestern.
Yep.
Northwestern was like their big box. Over here, they sold them at Herman Sporting Goods and stuff. Actually, I haven't know if but he had another line called Pro Select, which
Yep.
was like a low end.
Yep.
And then I had a very good relationship with Tour Edge
Yep.
with Dave Glott and those guys. So yeah, so Chicago's giving us a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and you got in the suburbs, you got sub 70 golfs there
Okay,
in Sycamore. So Jason Highland's a good friend of mine. So they're
yeah,
doing pretty well. So
good.
yeah, Chicago, Illinois got some roots in golf for sure. And you got great golf courses, a lot of golfers. I mean, I never really realized till I moved here to Minnesota how golf crazy Minnesota is. I
Yeah,
mean,
I can imagine.
it's unbelievable. In fact, if my back wasn't so bad today, I would have been out playing golf this morning because it's 60 degrees here, and this is the last time we're going to see 60 degrees for 5 months.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but great.
you'll get
It's great. It's a great state for golf for sure.
yeah. I mean, the golf season must be limited, right? Or not
Yeah,
as long as most places, and they probably
right.
get a fair amount of rounds in those golf courses. Once it thaws out, I can imagine it must be really nice.
They are very busy.
Yeah, yeah.